Hello, everybody. Back. I have a new phone, so I don't know if we're having a tough time. Just gonna get the invite now. Hope everybody's doing well. Happy Friday. There he is,
Hey, hi.
but I cannot see him, unfortunately.
Oh no,
No. So
it's very strange.
I know, yeah. It's
Let me
also
see
I
if
have a
I.
new phone, so it's
Yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It
yeah,
seems.
it's strange, weird.
How you doing?
I'm okay, you?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that gorillas video brought me life.
Yeah, really good.
So
Hey?
fun, man. So
Really
fun.
cool. Need
Yeah.
more of that. Need more stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's funny that we both thought the same thing. Like Drew
Yeah.
sent me like a preview of it, like the trailer from a few days ago.
Mm.
For anyone who happens to be listening, I guess there's a gorillas music video out, but it's like an 8 minute kind of animated feature kind of thing.
Yeah, so
And
cool.
yeah, Drew sent me like the kind of preview, the trailer for it, and I was just thinking like I swear the world would be like a better place if this if there's more stuff like this in the world.
Yeah, it's
It was
man.
so nice to see. I don't know even know how to describe it, and maybe it's just we're like animation dudes, but it was very satisfying, you know.
Yeah, it's very Jungle Book
100,
inspired.
yeah, 100. That's my
Yeah.
only almost criticism in a way, but I mean, obviously they're doing it on purpose because they're not just showing the snake that
Yeah.
resembles that, but there's like a there's like a mandrill and like a tiger. So I'm like, oh, they're
Mm.
using all the characters from the thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
but still just beautiful, you know, like just so
Yeah.
just like it's just so beautiful to watch. Like I'm gonna show my kids just to show them how beautiful it can be, you know, like this
Yeah.
type of animation and stuff.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying is that like I was just talking on here before and I was saying like we need more 2D animation. They don't make them hardly anymore. You never I mean, what's the last 2D? I mean, I haven't seen a 2D animation film in forever. I mean,
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
I mean, I'm trying to
yeah.
think. I mean, I do love the what Disney did with the new X-Men '97 series
Yeah.
and
Well, yeah, and there's like kind of I like I mean this the Spider-Man stuff
yeah,
is amazing, and the feeling of the combining of like 2D and 3D with that is awesome.
right,
It feels a
yeah,
little bit like the best of both worlds on that one.
right,
There's some stuff that's flat, there's some stuff that's fully rounded, like
right,
but this particular also again, of course, like Jamie Hewitt is probably our age, and this
yeah,
had feelings of like the dudes that did like the Lord of the Ring. It's like there's an aspect of anime and mostly of Disney and
yeah,
a little bit of the not stop motion, but where like rotoscoping or whatever it was
yeah,
when they use
yeah,
like real
motion
people.
capture.
Yeah, so it's kind of like all the animation styles that we grew up on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mostly obviously yeah, like the biggest influence it feels like a Disney thing, but yeah, but
right,
also
yeah,
man, just the backgrounds, like I know Disney also does incredible, the 2D Disney stuff from back in the day is also incredible, but it felt like kind of anime level of like crazy beautiful beautifully detailed backgrounds.
yeah. No, the
And
backgrounds are
also
beautiful.
just like Jamie Hewitt's like you
Yeah,
you and me both, I think, some one of our all-time favorites, so it's just
yeah,
so cool to see his art style come to life like in
yeah,
a moving. It's like that's 100% those are his drawings. Like that doesn't look like somebody interpreting his drawings. That looks like he
yeah,
drew them and they're moving. So it's
yeah, yeah. Well, there's been
super.
other Gorillas videos that he's
Yeah,
done. You know what I mean? That are like there's one I just was looking at. It's well, there's a few. I mean, there's a few. Uh, yeah, that are like animated, but there's one that's 3D animated. I was just watching it because it's like I have a whole playlist of videos, music videos, and a lot of them
yeah.
are the Gorillas. So yeah. Anyway, it's not the first time they've animated his art style, but it's like
No, yeah.
it's really
It's
it's
nice to see
I
it
find
again.
like the Gorillas stuff is just so like I mean I'm not a fan of all their music, but I mean I'm a fan of a lot of it,
Yeah.
and the combination of Jamie Hewlett's art and the music is really awesome. I
Yeah,
love it. I love it.
sure, sure.
Yeah.
Did you see the thing that I sent you of like Andrew McLean did a animated
Yeah,
Headlopper?
yeah. Well, we saw it at Comic Con. Remember, he showed it to us when we went to
Oh
dinner
yeah,
together.
that's true, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
They
know if I
showed it
did. I
to
see the
us.
whole thing though. I don't know if I saw the whole thing.
Yeah, well, I remember him showing it to us at Comic Con, and thinking like, man, I wonder when he's gonna like drop that, when it's gonna come
Yeah,
out, and he's gonna, and so I messaged him. I didn't get a response, but he's pretty busy, and like, cause I was just wondering how he financed getting that done, because it's really, yeah, another thing to check out. Any art fans out there or animation fans, is Andrew McLean's Headlopper. Is He did like a little animated short. Um, he had an animated short produced. I'm
yeah,
not sure what the company is that he used, but anyway, they did an amazing job. It's
yeah.
about
Great.
what, 5 minutes long or so.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah,
Yeah.
I think because in the thing it says like it was a proof of concept thing. So I think the financing happened because they were gonna turn it into an animated feature, but then it fell through.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay.
Like that's what he said. I'm not trying to. That's not me talking out of school. I don't think, as far as I remember, that's like what he said
Right.
in the text accompanying the video.
Right.
So
Oh, okay. Okay.
it's like they were gonna make it happen, but then just like a lot of these companies, it's kind of
Mm.
like they're hot on the animation, and then all of a sudden they sour to it, and you're left with like. So I think it was just that he was left with this amazing proof of concept kind of trailer, and it's like
Mm.
eventually I'd imagine maybe the rights got reverted or something. Like who knows? I don't know, but
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
way or the
It's
other,
unfortunate because,
he had
man,
the right to like show it, and I'm like, oh my god, that would have been just the craziest show.
oh,
Like
it's so
it would have
amazing.
been
Yeah.
so. I'm sure it would have been super successful, man.
Yeah, for sure it would have been. It's
Such
so
an
cool.
easy to
It's
understand
just,
concept, and like the
I think,
barbarian thing,
yeah, no, it's just, it's that, yeah, I don't understand. It's like, it's the suits once again
yeah,
throwing a wrench in the plans. No, but I mean,
they don't
yeah, no, yeah, it really looked amazing. It's amazing. If there was like a film like that, like or
yeah,
I mean, if a series would be ridiculous, because I don't think the quality would be as high as that for a series, because it's just it would be too difficult to do. But man, it's
yeah,
like
sure.
it was really. I mean, it's anyway. Go check it out, anybody who's watching, because it's amazing.
Yeah, the part where
Yeah,
Agatha kind of uses her powers too, I was like, oh shit, like
yeah,
like it's really kind of like it steps up. It's kind of steps up the comic in a way, like it does like a
yeah,
more extreme version of what happens in the comic, I guess.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Anyway, yeah,
yeah.
super cool. It's full
Really
of
cool.
action, very fun. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's really. I mean, I was like, there was that and the gorillas, between those two things. I was like, man, we need more of this stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like, like this is beautiful stuff, and yeah. Anyway, really cool, really cool. Yeah, I was hoping, like, I'd like one day to produce something like that for for the old Star Storm, and I'm sure
Oh
you
yeah,
wouldn't
for
mind
sure.
doing it for Kaya as well, right? So I mean,
Yeah,
that'd be
animation specifically is. I heard like there's like Comics Pro happened recently where it's like all the comic retailers they meet up and they all like they have presentations from all the different publishers and stuff.
right.
Um and like Robert Kirkman gave the address, like the keynote address to all the publishers.
Okay.
And he was saying, like this the anime kind of pipeline route of like manga to anime, which is the same thing that he's doing with Invincible,
Mm-hmm.
like is like that's the secret sauce. Like that's a really good way of kind of getting the buzz out more so than even than because there's these Marvel movies for years and years and it didn't really translate into like a massive amount of readership. But
Right.
the animated stuff seems to do that though because it's such an easy translation from
Right.
if you're into anime, you know about comics, you know what I mean. But if you're into the Marvel movies, you might not care about comics. I think that's the thing.
Right.
But so yeah, he was kind of like saying like this is really good. It's like I want to say like it's if only we all had an animation studio
Yeah. Well, yeah.
that
That's
was
it.
chomping
Yeah.
at the bit, and if we, it's like not to, I'm not, I think he's awesome, and it's totally like, I completely agree. It's just one of those things
Mm-hmm.
like one thing happens, and then the next thing happens. Like you make The Walking Dead, and then you're able to parlay that into, more clout, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually you get the animated series of Invincible, and it's like, yeah, that's such a perfect kind of that's what I would do if I was in his shoes, basically, is what I'm
Right,
saying.
right,
You
right.
know, like I
Yeah.
think I noticed the same thing when Invincible came out. I was like, man, it's like just like the manga thing where you started off with the manga, you kind of you know, and then you get an awesome animated series out of it, and if it's even more successful, maybe you get a Japanese produced like live action movie. But
Yeah.
not that that's the sole. That's strictly like just. I mean, it's amazing to have your own cartoon because it's super cool, but it's also like not that that should be the sole purpose, but in terms of getting more eyes towards comic books, it is true. I think
Hmm.
it's a really good way to do it. You know?
Well, yeah, there's always, I mean, there's always the, I watched, the toys that made us and all that stuff, and,
Yeah,
obviously Ninja Turtles and G.I. Joe and Transformers. And I mean, all those 80s properties, they all had sort of a similar sort of
yeah,
formula, where they had the comic book and then the comic book informed the animation and then the animation like was like sold the toys, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So, and I always thought like that was a formula that sort of seems to have gone out the window and
yeah, yeah.
it
It's
should
true.
be brought back. I think, like I think that, kids these days are more into video games and I was thinking that yeah, there used to be the trifecta, but there could be I don't know how to the
The
term the
the
quadfecta,
quad
but
effect, yeah,
you
whatever.
know
Yeah.
what I mean. But
No, I
like
know what you're
yeah,
saying.
like
Yeah, of
video
course.
games, and then like it would be cool if you could cross pollinate those art forms together and like sort of produce like video games and animation and the comic books and the toys and
Yeah,
all
yeah,
that stuff. And I was thinking about Image Comics too today. I was thinking about like DC and Marvel, they have their characters, right? They have Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, X-Men, and people come in and work on those characters. And Image is different because it's all creator owned. But I was thinking also they should just have like they should have their core characters in their core Image universe, and still do the creator owned stuff, but also have Spawn and Savage Dragon. Unfortunately, they don't have the rights for Wildcats. I wish they'd retain those or retain at least the possibility of working with those characters. You know what I mean? That
yeah,
would have been
yeah.
cool. But they have, I don't know about Youngblood. What's up with that? I don't know if that's produced by Image anymore because
It is
that
now. Yeah,
it is now. Yeah, but they should have that Image, like that stable of Image characters because there's a ton of them, and
yeah,
they should bring in writers and artists to work on those books, and they should be their regular monthly books, and then as well as having the creator owned books, or I mean, Invincible is such a huge property now that should just be a book that just runs forever, and I mean
yeah. I mean,
Spawn as
literally, when he
well.
made, yeah, yeah.
And,
When he made him, it's like I know, his name's Invincible, and he literally has the image eye on his
yeah,
costume, more or less. So I'm like, well, clearly he made him. I mean, there's no way that's a mistake, like
yeah,
it's kind of like this will be kind of one of the banner characters for the company, where it's like
yeah,
he's got the eye on his chest, like he's literally his Superman S is an image eye, so.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no, I agree. It is tough though because it's like I know that Kirkman years ago tried to make an Image United thing with all
right.
the main characters, but it's like, but it was to be drawn by all the original dudes, and it just, I don't know the inside story, but it just fizzled out, never happened. It's kind of classic
Right.
Image because
Yeah, yeah,
they're not great with like keeping deadlines and stuff, famously.
yeah,
But no, yeah, no, I think that
yeah.
would
Well, that
be,
should be like a separate image department that would be
yeah,
like,
I
just
agree, I
like, okay,
agree.
we produce these monthly titles. These are the 12 titles that we bang out monthly, and we have,
Yeah.
it's and you do the DC Marvel thing. I mean, I mean, Images. One thing about it. I mean, they don't want to be like DC Marvel in a lot of
No, I know
respects
what you're
because,
saying though, but it's like
but
It's like Vertigo is like creator participation, but they had, DC owned characters that included with that, like Swamp Thing and Sandman,
right,
etc., right?
yeah,
Yeah, no, I agree with that for sure. The only I can see the For sure it's complicated though because it's like
hmm,
they started doing that when we first picked it up when we were kids.
you're right,
And what's his name? Rob Layfield's character from Youngblood ended up was the guy who killed Al Simmons, right? Who killed Spawn. like
Wh-
Chapel.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember what happened.
Like like Chapel was one of the characters, one of Liefeld's characters, right?
Right,
He's in Youngblood, but it ended up being that Al Simmons dies and goes to hell, but
right.
the guy who killed him was Chapel, so it's like it ties
Uh,
those two worlds together.
right,
But then a few, maybe a year later, they kick Rob Liefeld out of the team, and he takes
right.
his properties and he's somewhere else. So that kind of messes with
Mm.
the
Yeah, yeah,
fun
yeah,
thing where
yeah.
you're not legally allowed to use this character anymore. So the creator
Mm.
owned aspect and the fact that each company, at the end of the day, this isn't owned by one.
Mm,
Like
right,
no one person has veto. Like Todd McFarlane can't be like, listen, Savage Dragon does this, and then we're gonna have, you know what I mean? So it's like
right.
it's so I would imagine it would be tough, but I do think it
Hmm.
would, if they were able to make some kind of like, this comic is
Concession.
owned by everybody and we don't, like this specifically, it's like everybody still owns their own properties, but there's this one comic that's like a shared universe comic or something. Like
Right, right.
I don't know like legally how they would, how exactly what the deal would be, but
Yeah,
I think it would be a good idea for sure. It would be a nice thing.
right, right.
And
Yeah,
people would be
yeah,
into it. Old school dudes would for sure be into it because it's kind of what they. It's like they've always wanted that, like
yeah. Well, I mean, it's like, yeah. I mean, there's so much good stuff that is kind of like gone by the wayside. I mean, not gone by the wayside, but that just has been left. Oh, like it's nothing's being done with it. Like, there
yeah,
was like Crimson was super cool with Humberto
yeah,
Ramos, and then there was Battle Chasers, and
yeah.
and
Well,
that
that's where
whole
I meant Jim Lee was, and there's a reason why he's been at DC for so long now. I think he was a smart publisher of comics because he did. I think as far as I remember, that was a Wild. Oh no, maybe it was wrong. Maybe
it was
Cliffhanger was
Cliffhanger.
Image in general.
It was called Cliffhanger.
Yeah, but was it through Wildstorm or was it just through like Image in general? Maybe it was just Image in general.
I don't know. Good
Yeah.
question.
But yeah, he was very smart. He got, America's Best Comics from Alan Moore. He diversified, he got Astro City. He didn't just do just the Jim Lee show. Like he signed like good comics. He got a bunch of, at one point he had Ninja Turtles as his property, even though that I remember, I see some of those ads in my old Image comics recently, and I was like, oh, I don't even remember those. But no,
Really?
but I think yeah, they had the like Wildstorm owned like toy rights to the Ninja Turtles for like a minute.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'll show you a picture on the back of like this dragon issue. I just was just looking at it. No, but I think he signed up a lot of good people. And like Rob Liefeld did, I think a really good job too for that period where he made like he got like young indie dudes to do like Prophet and stuff like that. Like I think he's got a
Right,
good, like a new take, and not being in their own ego about it, not being like this has to look like a Rob Liefeld style, like just taking
right,
some. He got a bunch of people that don't look anything like his stuff, and
right, right.
like the Brendan Graham, Simon Roy, like Prophet from back in the day. It's like really, it's awesome. It's awesome comic. Like I love it,
Mm,
and it was because Rob Liefeld was going outside of his comfort zone, I think, and getting people that you wouldn't expect him to get. And
right.
same thing with Jim Lee. I think the at DC's they're doing a good job of kind of going outside of the usual DC thing and making some like interesting comics.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, that would be good though.
Yeah,
I would read that. I would read the first few issues for sure, at least. Even as
yeah,
like
yeah.
a a jaded dude that doesn't read a lot of superhero stuff anymore, like I
Mm,
100% I would check that out. If they got a good creative team, and this is just don't get the original creators because they're sitting
yeah.
pretty, they're chilling out, they're getting older. I don't, just dealing with deadlines is a grind, and if you have enough money, it's like, why am I torturing myself on these deadlines? I
Yeah,
understand
well, I
how
mean, you
eventually
know,
they don't want to deal with that anymore. So get a
yeah,
new creative team, and yeah, that would be awesome.
yeah, not as the artist, but maybe as the writer, you know what I mean? Like I think,
Yeah,
Rob
yeah,
Liefeld still writes, is
yeah,
still writing Youngblood, and Todd McFarlane's still doing Spawn, right? So,
yeah. You'd have to. That's true. You'd have to keep a pretty strong connection to the original creators because I think
yeah.
that would be like it's like seeing Battle Chasers. Like looks really cool, but
Hmm.
it's like you really want to see Joe Madureira draw that comic.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah,
tied to the creator, I guess. So
yeah, yeah. Um,
yeah. Anyway.
what was I going to say? Yeah, because I mean, like I was watching this video. I forget what the guy's name. Who does YouTube videos, but he does like the history of certain individuals. Todd
Yeah,
McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, all those guys. So
yeah,
and he was just like he does really in depth sort of looks into the the comic books and the creators. So
yeah,
anyways, he was talking about like when Rob Liefeld, I think he started Awesome Entertainment, and um, he had Alan Moore write a couple issues of Youngblood, right? With Steve Scrosi
yeah.
was the artist, right? Those were really cool,
So good.
So,
Love
yeah, yeah. Which it's unfortunate it didn't run for longer. It only ran for what, like 3 issues or something. I
Yeah,
forget,
yeah.
but
So I remember picking that up, man. I was like, this is like the best, and it's just
yeah,
him doing the '60s like Justice League style, where they split up into like little duos.
right,
It was like each chapter was like Shaft with Bad Rock or whatever, like he'd like split them
right.
kind of. But the way
Hmm.
that the drawings, I copied that stuff a lot. I thought the character designs were so cool, and obviously Alan
Yeah,
Moore had to write a fun superhero stories. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, he was
yeah,
smart. I mean, like he was.
yeah.
He's like they're telling me I can't write. All right, I'm gonna get Alan Moore. Same thing as Todd McFarlane. They're like, I got
Yeah,
so much money. They're like, how about I just hire Alan Moore for a few issues? And like Todd McFarlane did the thing where he hired there was like 3 issues in a row where he hired Alan Moore and I think maybe Grant Morrison and Neil Gaiman and Dave Sim and just like
yeah.
got them to write a few Spawn comics.
Yeah, well, he had big problems with Neil Gaiman. He sued him
Yeah,
for
yeah, totally.
Angela and all that stuff. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, he had big issues with that guy. But I mean, and now knowing what we know about that guy, I'm like, yeah, no
Yep.
good.
Yeah. Todd
um,
McFarlane's like, see, buddy. Let me tell you, not a
yeah,
trustable
yeah,
character, that guy. You know.
yeah.
Um,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. Anyway, awkward pause there.
It's one of those, what do you even say? But I mean, like,
Yeah, yeah,
separated out from that, it's interesting because it's like, yeah, I don't know, easy to talk shit now, but it's like he took that character,
yeah.
even though they were lucratively like, I mean, to maybe I don't know the whole story. Maybe if I was him, maybe I would have sued too. I don't know, but like, it's like
Yeah.
he sued them and then he sold it to Marvel, who are, God bless Marvel, man. Like people that are working there, I'm just saying, like
Mm,
they do famously like not treat their creators like great over the years.
hmm.
I'm not saying right now. I'm just saying like over the years, DC and Marvel have had their problems with create with
Hmm.
being fair with their creators and their
Right,
creators' creations. And it's like
right.
you're gonna sell it to Marvel, man? Like really,
Mm,
and they haven't done anything with the character. Like that's the
yeah, yeah.
that was the other thing too. I was gonna say like I wish I've said this before, but like I do wish Jim Lee would sell back his Wildstorm characters to Image in
Yeah,
some way because I'm
yeah,
like they
because they don't
work
do
so
anything.
much
Nothing.
better by themselves.
Yeah, no, they don't. I mean, they don't do anything with them. It's like,
They no, they keep trying, but it keeps failing because it's like
yeah,
they don't work in a shared universe. I feel there's certain characters like just like Shazam works better in his own universe.
mm,
Personally, just my personal opinion, because it doesn't
right,
work as well when there's an actual Superman there. I find it works better when there's like when he's the only Superman. And
okay,
it's the same thing with like bringing Miracle Man into the Marvel universe. Like it doesn't work because he works best on his own. And I think it's the
right,
same like having like Apollo and Midnighter, in the same world that Batman and Superman exist. I don't think
mm,
I don't
yeah,
think it works as well. So
yeah, I agree.
they need to be full out crazy version of DC and Marvel. Like that's the
Yeah,
thing too. You need to let them off the leash as much as possible because that's what they are. They're crazy, crazy versions of Marvel
yeah,
of
exactly.
DC characters.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah,
like kill people and rip people's freaking heads off, and like they
yeah.
need to they need to be
No, exactly. Yeah,
allowed to do anything and everything, or else it's not. What's the point?
yeah, yeah. No, for sure. I agree.
Yeah, these are our wish list things today.
Yeah, yeah,
Like if we were in control of Image and Marvel and DC, all we need to do is just
yeah.
gain control of Image, Marvel, and DC, and we'll have all these things come true.
We will. We're like the click in wrestling,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
going down the
I'll be who's,
road.
who's Shawn Michaels and who's
I'm,
Colin Nash.
I'm Diesel.
You're Diesel? Okay, so you're gonna go over to, let's say, okay, so who's WCW and who's WWE? You're gonna go over to DC. I'll go to Marvel. I'll stay at Marvel, I should say, I guess. I'm Shawn Michaels over at
Yeah.
WWE, unfortunately.
Well, who's the least? I'm like the 1, 2, 3 kid. I'm the least talented, but I mean, but
And then we got
still, but
Andy.
still
Andy will go
valid.
over to Image as ECW.
Yeah, I'll jump back and forth,
Yeah. You're
and then
that
I'll
guy
come
that just
back
goes
and
back and forth.
just shit on like the other company that I work for.
Yeah, totally. That's 1, 2, 3 kid.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like, no, I'm back here again.
yeah,
Bischoff, you suck.
yeah, yeah,
It
exactly.
goes to WCW. McMahon, you suck. Yeah, no, totally. That's funny. All right. Well, luckily you don't have a drug problem, so that's good. And
No, this is good.
what else was I going to say? Oh, you sent me. I was just thinking about this. You think about things in your own regard, and then I was like, oh, I wonder what Drew's opinion is on this,
Mm,
because for me, if it's a story, I was thinking about just types of stories that like you see the story and you're like, well, I'm in. I just love that kind of a story, like a
right.
little bit of it. I felt a little bit of that with the Knight of the Seven Kingdoms because it's a big tough dude with a little guy he's got to kind of protect, and I'm like, that's my
Yeah,
shit. Like
yeah.
I love Lone Wolf and Cub. I love
Hmm.
the concept. I just love that's kind of what Kaya is in a way, except that she's a little girl, but she's a tough little tomboy girl taking
Yeah,
care of her little bratty brother. But it's like part of that is like a lone wolf and cub kind of a story where they're traveling along the road and it's dangerous and she's got to like keep them alive.
yeah, yeah.
And like Road to Perdition is kind of like basically that movie all slash comic book.
Hmm.
I was like, oh, I loved it so much, because it's basically this is just mobster it is Lone Wolf and Cub, just a mobster version of it.
Right,
Like
right.
any stories like that. I know isn't I'm kind of like going to that. Like I think of say a Wolverine comic and I'm like, well, what if he had a kid he had to protect? Like I always kind of go to that
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
that go to for me. It's like almost too much. Like I think it's too attractive. I rely on it too much. But you were
Mm-hmm.
saying, and there's other stuff too, but you were saying I didn't understand what your text answer, like suffering.
Did I write that? I don't even know. I don't think I
Oh,
wrote
maybe
back about it. Yeah.
oh, okay. Do you
No,
have
no.
something that like hits you right away?
Well, I always like the um a bit of the Will Byers story arc. Like it didn't play out the way I was hoping, but where the ineffectual, I love
Like
the
Akira.
underdog. Yeah, the underdog. Well, yeah, Akira not so much, but more like
Hmm.
Rocky. Like Rocky, like the
Yeah,
underdog who isn't supposed to be anything and is like just not, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
then being like the ultimate, you know what I mean? And just
yeah,
like being like, and then coming to realize that he's like actually, when he's thinking he's the least powerful, he's the most powerful. You know what I mean? Like that's
yeah,
I dig that, when and like, when the music hits and like the fight starts to become, when he starts to win, when he starts to turn the
yeah,
tide, you know what I
yeah.
mean? That gives me the goosebumps, and that's like I always loved that. I always loved
Yeah.
and I was
Karate
watching
Kid
the Karate Kid. Yeah, the Karate Kid, exactly. Prime
and
example of like the
doing it.
guy who's just the Spider-Man, the guy who's up
Yeah,
against
Spider-Man.
it and doesn't have any much going on, and then he just like he ends up coming out on top, and
Yeah.
yeah, I love that. I really love that. The underdog stories are always. I don't unless you're a jerk. I don't know who doesn't love underdog
Like who
stories.
doesn't
You know
love?
what I mean?
Yeah, of course, of
You
course.
know,
It
it
sets you
seems
up
like
for
like
failure, not failure, but disappointment in life because I think both of us have liked those so much. We watched a lot of
right,
boxing over the years, and it
right.
took me. It's like one day I came to the realization. I was like, yeah, the people you root for always lose, Wes. Like
Yeah, it never really goes
because
like
you're
that,
always
but
like, you can
sometimes it
do it,
does.
man. But that's not real life. But it does give you that feeling of hope for
Yeah, no, that's
sometimes
the
it
thing. Yeah.
happens, you know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Sometimes it happens. Yeah,
But in movies
it's
and
yeah.
TV shows, it always happens. That's the difference.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like the underdog always wins, you
I
know?
know,
So
yeah, and you know when you're growing up, you hope that you kind of think that life is like that, that you're the
yeah.
underdog and you're gonna, you know, it's not really. Mostly, it's like jerks who seem to get on top. You know what I mean?
Well, they just, I
Like
mean, there's the only reason there's an underdog is because they're an underdog, so they have less of a chance of winning, and
right,
therefore
yeah,
there is no amount of like digging deep. Like there is, you can dig
right.
deep, but you can dig as deep as you want. But if this guy's got massively way more skill than you, they're gonna beat your ass. You know, like that's
Yeah,
the
well,
problem.
yeah, for boxing for sure. Yeah, if we're just talking about boxing, but I mean, like I was watching, and it was I was watching just little clips of the original Dune movie with the David Lynch one,
Yeah, yeah,
and like I mean, not that Muad'Dib is or Paul Atreides is an underdog, but I just like that like he has to go through all this sort of trial and tribulation, and it's very different from the book because the book is not really about that, but in the
yeah,
movie he changed it to be like it's like Paul gets his sort of revenge, and then it's like at the end of the movie they put the cape on Paul, and like Ali is by his side, and it's like you can't mess with this guy. He's the man. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And like and he's gonna change things for the better. And I really it always used to give me goosebumps. As weird and as like kind of cheesy that movie is, that scene, and even like the music was done by Toto, and I love how the hits the crescendo and then the rain comes down, and yeah, I really like that sort of stuff,
yeah,
so
for
yeah,
sure.
so the underdog stuff is really great. Revenge obviously is just another. Those are probably my two favorite. I love revenge stories, and I love like Conan the Barbarian. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yes,
the
yeah,
best. Like when he has that whole speech with when he's talking to Crumb, and if you
yeah.
don't listen, to hell with you, I'm like still gives me goosebumps. I'm like, yeah,
Oh, it's the
exactly.
best.
So I mean those are my favorites. Yeah,
Yeah,
revenge,
I hate. It's
revenge,
like
and
when I'm watching revenge movies or TV shows or whatever. It's like I don't want to like it because I feel
mm,
like it's accessing kind of like a darker part of your personality, kind of a thing. You know what I mean? But I'm
yeah,
always like, God damn, this is effective though. Like I
no,
really,
yeah,
I want to see
no,
that guy get it so bad. You know, like there's
yeah, no,
nothing more
yeah,
effective than more than any. That's what I mean is that it's like I like to more root for somebody than wish for someone's like comeuppance or whatever, like demise.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
I'm sorry, there's nothing more effective. There's nothing that'll keep me going on a TV show more than seeing, Joffrey or whoever, like, oh, they're
yeah,
gonna get it one day. I gotta, they can't keep doing
exactly,
this, So
yeah, yeah,
it is what it is. I
yeah.
think it's
I'm
like human
still like.
nature.
Like I still think about Joffrey, and I'm still like, wasn't enough. He didn't get it. He just didn't suffer enough. He was just, that was. I mean, that was the thing about Game of Thrones, which made it so effective and so good, is that it is a little more realistic, a little more real life
Yeah,
than your average fantasy, or any sort of any sort of sci-fi or fantasy show. Is that it is more realistic because the good guys don't win a lot of the
no,
time. They end up like
no.
in bad shape,
No.
So,
And the
um,
ultimate bad guy doesn't get enough, as you say, and it's like,
yeah,
and two of the biggest bad guys, they torture them so much that you eventually feel like, oh, okay, that's enough. That you don't need
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
like Jamie Lannister. Eventually, he becomes almost a hero because he gets put through it so bad. But I'm like,
yeah,
this
yeah,
guy tossed a child off
yeah,
like a building and crippled him for life, and yet by season whatever, we're kind of like, you can do it, Jamie. You're not such a bad
yeah,
guy. like
yeah. I
like
still
the
didn't. I still wasn't buying it. I'm like, no. I'm like Jamie deserves to get it. I didn't like the way they ended for them either. It was too good. They
Yeah, well,
deserved
that's the thing.
worse.
It goes against Titan the Red Wedding and everything. Yeah, people don't
Yeah, yeah,
get what they deserve. They
yeah.
don't.
No,
That's the
that's
ultimate. Like, just because you're an underdog doesn't mean you're promised any kind of nice ending or whatever. And it's like that's
yeah,
one of the charms, not charms, but that's also I think why people had a hard time with the ending is because they're like, yeah, no, the queen who comes to save everybody, the chosen one story is
right.
like they're like it's bullshit. Like we're not gonna do that.
Yeah, Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
everyone's like, no, she's gonna save everybody, and it's like, no, it's some, and also like again, like the more I think about that ending, it wasn't well done. We've said this before,
Mhm.
but the idea of it, I'm ambivalent about it because I like the idea and I agree with the
Yeah,
idea. It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
she, and they say it a lot in the Seven Kingdoms, right? Where you start to see the rebellions start to kind of foment or whatever, where people are like, yeah, they're inbred swine from a foreign land, like F them,
Hmm.
And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's who she is. She comes from like terrible people,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
terrible conquerors who burned thousands, and it's like this person isn't meant to rule anything just because
yeah. Mhm.
she is from this royal line, So it's like,
Right,
okay,
right.
sorry, I'm gonna go off on a tangent, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah,
think it was a good moral lesson at the end of the day
yeah.
that
Well,
no
and the
king
only
or
thing
queen is like an automatically a good, like they're not good rulers, So
yeah, I didn't have a problem with that. I didn't have a problem. That wasn't my issue with the ending, though. Like, I had no issue with her
yeah,
dying and her turn and that sort of stuff. What I had an issue with was that it felt it was forced. It was
yeah, yeah, yeah,
it
totally,
happened too fast,
for sure,
and Jon Snow, like it was like he was in love with her 1 second, and he's like, yeah, no, she's got to die. And
yeah,
like
no, for
in with the
sure,
matter of an episode, you know what I mean? And you're like, you gotta let that you gotta let that sit a little bit. You know what I mean? That has to
yeah,
build, that has to slow burn a bit, where he's slowly seeing that, okay, this is maybe not the best for any, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it
yeah.
has
The
it
romance
wasn't there
happens
wasn't enough of
fast,
a
and
conflict.
yeah,
You know what I mean? That's the thing. There wasn't enough conflict for him, It was like he just kind of made the decision, oh, well, okay, yeah, gotta do it,
yeah,
And that was it. You know what I mean? And then he
yeah.
jumped. Yeah, it was just that was the only thing. But
They
I didn't
fell
have
in
issue
love
with.
super fast, and they fell out of love like too. Yeah, no, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
It was just a matter of
exactly.
timing, definitely. They
Yeah,
need to
yeah,
take
yeah,
their time.
yeah. Yeah, not that it was bad. I mean, not that that season was bad. It's just those
No,
last two episodes were like it just felt rushed. It was too. It
yeah,
didn't. Yeah, there wasn't enough time for stuff to sit and cook. So.
yeah, for sure,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
shame.
but that's it. Yeah, those are probably my favorite stories. The heroes. I'm trying to think of what my favorite stories are. It's like Star Wars. Luke Skywalker. I love stories about. See, my initial thought about no, I'm gonna get deep. I'm not deep, but I'm gonna go super nerd here, full
Yeah.
blown supernova. But like so like I loved like when I initially thought about Jedi in the original trilogy because I'm old, so for those who don't know, but like so for many years there wasn't all like I didn't grow up with the prequels. I grew up with the original trilogy, and for many years we'd hoped for sequels and whatnot, and there was nothing. There was just like I mean, it was gone. Star Wars was just the original trilogies, and that
Yeah,
was it. And for all we knew, that was all there was ever going to be because
yeah,
we'd gone back and you heard rumors George Lucas is working on something, and then it would fall through and nothing would happen. And anyways, it was a case for a major depression in my in my youth. And anyways, but that story of just some nobody and then like having some sort of backstory of he's like part of this evil royal family
yeah,
and like but he's just like a farm boy from nowhere and then discovering this whole backstory of these mystical monks that wield this power.
yeah,
So that was I always loved that the last of the power wielders, you know what I mean? The last of the monks, like
yeah, yeah,
their ranks have been decimated and there's not any left. There's one or two around who can impart this magic upon someone deserving. I always
yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's really cool.
yeah.
And
Totally cool.
the samurai sort of code of ethics and that sort of stuff. And like my initial thought about Jedi wasn't that they were when the prequels were made I was like they're cool, but my thoughts about Jedi were that they were more
Away from
they more
the power system, kind
they
of.
weren't yeah they weren't a part of the power structure. They were just
Yeah,
like sort of like
agreed.
off on their own, like as a
They
they
were
were
called
just
in
like
for help.
monks.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were like Shaolin monks, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
they lived
totally,
up in
totally,
like temples, and then
totally. It's
like
true.
when they were really, when things got hairy, they were really needed. The king would go see them, or whoever was in peril would go see them and ask, for their help, and that was always my perception of them until the prequels were made, and I always thought that was just a better. That was just in my mind. That was just cooler. I mean, it was going to be cooler because it's my imagination and
Yeah, but
my
even as
thoughts,
you're saying it, man, I'm like, God damn it, that's better. Like,
Yeah,
so
yeah. Well,
much
that's the
cooler.
thing,
You
They
know?
because they're more. There's more mystery there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
more to the imagination. There's more like, oh, what do these guys know? Like, oh, this guy has another power. You know what I mean? Like this. They're not all just They're like they became like they're just space cops. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
and it's like, okay, yeah, they can be space cops, but they should have precincts in very difficult destinations to, you know what I mean? They just have like Coruscant, and that's where they all go, and
Yeah,
they're all there. You know what I mean? And it's just all the training's done in that big building in Coruscant. You know what I mean? And I just thought
yeah,
that
yeah.
was like,
I agree. That's true.
yeah, it wasn't as cool as what I had thought, which would be like, they lived in some mountain destination or off on some remote, like Dagobah, like that sort of thing where you had to, like, that was what was cool about, that's what I love about Empire Strikes Back, is that Luke had to go seek out this guy who has this knowledge of this power that he's trying to
Yeah,
harness, and it's not an easy task, you know what I mean? And that should have
yeah,
been, that's how I felt it should have been for all Jedi, that if you wanted to be a Jedi, or if you have, it's not like they're, yeah, I didn't like that idea of that they just went around like snatching kids up and were like, oh yeah, you got the Force, come
yeah,
on,
totally.
let's go, we're gonna put you in the orphanage and just train you, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree for sure.
Yeah, I didn't
And it's
dig that.
also like, yeah, like that the world they have in Rogue One, it's like they should just be there, like Jeddah, like the original,
Yeah, yeah.
just practicing there, and then they have to come see them if they need their help or whatever type of
Well,
thing, But yeah, no,
yeah,
for
well,
sure, it's very true.
I think that I think that is like, if you go into the past, into
That's
Star
what it
Wars
is. Yeah,
past,
yeah,
that's what it is. You know what I mean? It is. It's
yeah,
just, I
yeah,
was thinking that generation, like, Anakin and Obi-Wan and all that stuff, were still of that sort of deal. You know what I mean? But like if they go back, which I think they should do, is that they should go
right to the
back in time and sort of,
ancient
they should
Jedi.
just
Yeah,
like, go back and like, just like, okay, show the Jedi when they were just like that, like just monks, and
yeah,
and people were like, okay, there was like
like a weird
certain,
cult.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like people aren't
exactly.
even sure.
Well, hello. Oh, you cut out on me.
Yeah, Lexi just was trying to call.
Oh,
We'll,
okay.
we'll hang up in a minute. She probably has groceries she needs help with. But
Oh, okay.
no, I don't know if she probably knows that I'm on doing this thing. I usually
Oh,
am.
okay.
Um, and also like when they come in the original trilogy, it makes it make more sense too because it's like some people like Han Solo don't even believe in it. Like
Yeah,
which would make more sense if they were more of a hidden thing that could easily be discredited or whatever. But it's like, yeah, they were in like the main city. They were in like what
yeah,
the planetary Washington D.C. like helping make
yeah,
decisions and stuff,
yeah, yeah,
So it's hard
yeah,
to say like no, they never existed. It's like yeah, they existed like with a lot of evidence just 20 years ago. So it would be like
yeah, yeah.
why
That's
would
the
Han Solo
thing.
think it's not even real?
Yeah, that's the problem I have, is that they should be more secretive and mystical. It should be
Yeah,
a more of a secretive sort of thing, like it's like, I can't just go down the street and learn Shaolin Kung Fu. I gotta go, you know what I mean? Like that's the
yeah.
thing, it should have been something along those lines, but anyway, it's
Dude, we're
yeah.
solving
So,
a lot of problems today, man.
dude, I got all the answers, man.
Yeah, no, no, no.
I got
Listen,
all
not
the
just
all the
DC Marvel Image, also we're coming for you too. Luckily, they're owned by Disney, so all we need to do is if we get in charge of Disney, then we're in charge of Lucas and Marvel. So that's really all
It's
we got to do.
just a matter of time, man.
Yeah.
Just a
Once
matter
they
of
once they
time.
hear this, once they hear, they're like, listen, these guys doing this Friday thing that like five people check in on. They got some really good ideas,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, that's
They
it.
might be geniuses.
Uh, you know what I was thinking? Oh, what was I thinking of? I just had something pop in my head. I was like, they did something recently. um, there's some sort of idea for some movie or something, and I was like, someone's listening to our podcast because
Oh,
that's something I laid out
really?
like fully, and now they're going ahead with it. You know what I mean? Like there was
Yeah.
something along those lines.
Yeah, there's
Uh,
some things that I let slip that I mean, I'm pretty secretive with this stuff, but it's like there's some like the thing I just said about Wolverine. I mean, literally, I have thought of turning that into a pitch, but I'm also like the chances of me ever getting around to it is slim, and also the chances of Marvel ever agreeing to it are also slim. So I'm just like, ah, whatever.
well,
I'll
hey
throw it out.
man, you know, I mean, you don't know if you don't give it a shot, man. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
yeah, for sure. No, there's some things I'm like, I'm just gonna write this because I want to write it, and life
yeah.
is short. And if they like it, yeah, there's a few pitches I'm working on. I got this one idea right now. I can't. I'll tell you
Mm,
off air. So these five people will steal this idea. But I just,
right.
yeah, I'm working on something, an idea for a DC thing that I think would be cool. And like
Yeah.
literally, the editor was like, "We're not actually." Um,
Accepting pitches.
not accepting pitches, but it was like she's like we're I can't say too much without like revealing anything, but it's like we're not really like opening it up any right now, this
Right.
certain universe that these people are working on.
Okay.
But like but she was like, I'd be happy to hear the pitch though. So I'm like, yeah man, I'm just gonna do it because I've had this thing rolling around in my head for months and months now, and I'm like, I think it's
You gotta let
cool.
me know, so maybe I'll
And
have an
if it,
idea too.
yeah, no, yeah, I'd like to see like what you like bounce the ideas off you and stuff, you know.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I'm just gonna kind of I'm like I'm just gonna develop it, and again, worst comes to worst, like if they don't want it, I can probably turn it in just I'd rather not, but I could turn it into something else for myself or whatever one day.
Yeah. Well,
I'm trying to
that's. I
fill it
mean,
with enough material and enough interesting new ideas that I'm like I could also just do this as my own thing if I tweak some elements, but if not, then like if they did want to go for it, it would be I'm trying to make it perfect for them. But I did that once before. I did a pitch years and years ago for a Mr. Miracle miniseries, uh,
right.
years and years and years ago, and they didn't want to go for it because at the time they were doing a Mr. Miracle with Grant Morrison, and I took the basics of that and I turned it into this other series that it never got published, but I wrote and drew
Mm.
it, got paid for it. That initiative that paid to get it done got like kind of shuttered or whatever. So it's like that it kind of just like I have the rights back now,
Okay.
but yeah, you know, so it's kind of like these ideas don't necessarily go to waste. You just you can
Yeah. Well.
and it's just making you a better writer. Just working on this stuff makes
Yeah.
you a better writer anyway. So you know.
Yeah. For sure. I actually um wrote John Favreau on Instagram.
Oh
A
yeah.
whole thing.
A whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. A whole
Wow.
thing. I just said, you know what? I said if they do it, whatever, it's still gonna be a better idea. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I
You're like
always get
throwing it
worried
out here
about
for
like.
free, John.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I didn't give him the whole idea, but I gave him a layout of like my concept, like this is
Yeah.
sort of like there's a way of fixing everything.
Yeah.
And I'll just lay it out here because it's just like anybody who hears it, I'll just like go back to the video and be like, see, they're stealing from me.
Yeah.
But
Fantastic.
see, like my initial idea originally for like the sequels had potential, you know what I mean? And they ended up being because they didn't have any sort of they didn't really know where they were going with it. It ended up really falling. It ended up being shit. You know what I mean? But it could have been if they'd hit home with the third movie, it could have been good. But see, the thing was that it's that Luke Skywalker, right? They're all like everybody was shitting all over it because Mark Hamill galvanized everybody and said, like, oh, Luke would never do that.
Yeah.
Luke is the character with hope, and like how they treated his character was bad. But my thinking was this is that everybody can lose hope, but there just has to be enough shit thrown at you that makes you lose hope. You know what I mean? So in life, and you know what I mean. And when you get old, and all those things hit you, you know what I mean. Eventually, you will lose hope. Luke's character eventually comes back to hope. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Of course, he has to, but I was thinking because, and the thing is that what a big a big issue with the sequels was that there was so much um uh to draw from, that was the comic books and the books and the Thrawn stuff, and you know what I mean. That now they're starting to like, now it's, I think Kathleen Kennedy's out, and no offense to her, but most people have not been a fan of what she's done with Star Wars. But um, yeah, so now they're starting to use Thrawn and these characters, and Dave Filoni
Yeah.
obviously is a huge Star Wars guy, and he's, you
Yeah.
know, close with George Lucas, and you know the original trilogy, like the sequel trilogy, they should have just taken George Lucas's ideas and tweaked them a little bit slightly, but they just I mean they brought in, I mean, I don't want to shit on people, but they brought J.J. Abrams in, and he's a great director, but as far as like his story ideas, they're super derivative, and it was just basically a rehashing of the original
Yeah.
trilogy, and just, but there was just so much, there's so many little things that you can just do uh, just to make it good. You know what I mean? Like it's just, you know, like, so my
Yeah.
idea
Well,
was
like,
this. So my idea was this. I'll just say this, is that my idea was that we're probably gonna get kicked out soon, but my idea was that um is that the reason that Luke lost faith in the Force and all that stuff, and being able to, thinking that he could bring Ben Solo back to the light, was that Luke ended up, Mara Jade is one of his first Jedi apprentices, right? So like Luke reforms the Jedi Temple, and that Jedi Temple is a secluded temple where he's just training like a handful of Jedi, and it's like how I said they should just be these like monks off on like this
yeah.
planet training, you know what I mean, in secret.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening. Ben's training with them, but Luke falls in love with Mara Jade, and Ben starts to resent his training. He wants to become a powerful Jedi, and he starts to resent Luke because Luke is dedicating all his energy towards Mara Jade. And then Ben starts turning the rest of the Jedi against Luke, saying he's, you know, like he's not what he's,
Yeah.
you know, he's all, you know, and I like, I could go into more detail. I haven't spoken about it or thought about it in a while, but I'd be able to work out, like, you know, and then Snoke comes in and taints all of them. And then,
Mhm.
you know, so then, and what happens is that Mara Jade ends up, the reason he's dedicating so much time to her is that she's pregnant with his kid. So, and he's in love with her, and he's sort of like, he's not sure about, he doesn't want to keep, he wants to become a family man, you know, he wants to take care of his child and be with Mara Jade, and he wants to, like, he's not sure he wants to be a Jedi master and train the Jedi anymore, you know what I mean? So he's conflicted there. So then what happens is that Ben Solo comes and he kills everybody, you know, he kills everybody who's on that side. Like there's still, like the Jedi, they get split, you know, and
Yeah.
some of them become the Knights of Ren, and then the other ones like basically try to stand up to the Knights of Ren, but they're too powerful and they kill all the Jedi. And then Mara Jade ends up, Luke thinks she's dead, but she's not, and she escapes. But she escapes and she doesn't tell Luke, like she kind of mind wipes him.
Yeah.
And and then that's what the story would be, you know. So then like, so then it would have reason for Luke to have just given up because he thinks his wife and his unborn child is dead, and that he's failed as a Jedi master, and he let Ben turn to the dark side, and everything goes into chaos, you know. Therefore, he exiles himself, you know.
Yeah.
And that was, so that I thought that would have really given Luke enough reason to be like, yeah, no, I don't want to do this anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's too painful.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was I had it worked out like further and like a little more in detail, but that's the initial idea, was because Mara Jade is a very big, you know, like
Character in the
yeah,
comics, or yeah.
yeah, in the comics and books, like I mean, she originally, I think she's like Darth Vader's apprentice in the books.
Oh
I'm not
yeah.
quite sure. Yeah, yeah, and then she turns to she becomes, she's Luke's love interest, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I thought
Sure.
that they could have, if they'd done something along those lines, and then it could have set up future movies, because she would have been pregnant with Luke's kid, and they could still do that, you know, they could still shoehorn it in there somehow. But that was my idea for the next set of movies, would be Mara Jade raising this super powerful Jedi, like the old, like, and he's, I mean, how many times are you going to go back and forth with the Chosen One? But he's just this powerful, or he or she is just this powerful Jedi. And then that would have been like, you know, like something like that. Anyway, that's the idea.
Yeah. Yeah. That would have been awesome.
Yeah. No, yeah, that would have been, I think, good. Anyway, that was my
Yeah,
idea.
sure. Yeah, and also like you said, like Lucas's stuff, because the problem with those, it's like the prequels left a bad taste in people's mouth, and then it was like, don't give it to George Lucas next time. But
Yeah,
it's not his ideas, it was his execution.
yeah, no, that's the
And it's
thing.
the same
Yeah,
even with the previous movies, with the original movies. It's not, it's his ideas are super cool, but everyone loves that second movie the most because it was cool ideas executed well. And
yeah,
it's like I don't think he's a good director, and I think you need to have somebody go over the dialogue because the dialogue from like the some of the prequels is brutal.
yeah, yeah,
No offense, right?
yeah,
I don't know if
yeah,
you agree or not, but like you know what I mean?
yeah, no,
It's stiff dialogue from a guy who,
yeah,
let's be honest, hasn't written a lot of
right,
scripts. Like really, just had
yeah.
an amazing concept and rolled
No,
with it.
it's not that
And
he doesn't. It's not that he doesn't write scripts. It's that he's. It's always been his knock is that he's not a great director of actors. He's like
yeah,
just
yeah,
do what's written. You know what I mean? If you watch all the stuff, and it's just that
yeah.
his ideas are brilliant, but his direction of acting is not. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
like
he
so
doesn't
the
want to
acting
deal
can
with it.
come across stiff. You know what I mean? And it's like and that's the knock on him. And
Yeah. So it's like
yeah,
just get like an executor, like J.J. Abrams, good executor. Get you could direct
yeah,
his ideas, but I don't think. Yeah, yeah, no, I think his ideas were cool, and I think his the ones that I've seen, where it's like the 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 Death Star underwater and all that stuff, the stuff you've shown me and the stuff that I've seen online. It's all pretty cool stuff. It's just like you just gotta pull it off right.
yeah. Yeah, well, I mean,
And
people like the kids from that generation that grew up with the prequels, they love the prequels. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
sure.
And the thing is that, I mean, at the end of the day, they're for kids, really. I mean, you know what I mean? It's for
Yeah,
everybody. It's
totally.
for everybody, but like if I grew up with the prequels, I would have loved the prequels. You know what I mean? For sure. But it's just
Yeah.
that I grew up with the original. I formed my idea of what the prequels would be and my idea of what the sequels would be. And they just didn't hit the mark. I mean, and everybody has their ideas. That's the issue with letting something sit for 40 years is that, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? You
yeah,
get
that's
40 years of people thinking about what's going to happen and
yeah,
formulating their own opinions, you know what I mean? And then when it doesn't turn out, like nearly as good, everybody's, shitting all over it, you know what I mean? But I
yeah,
mean, the thing is, like, I just had a big issue. Like, I mean, The Last Jedi, okay, you can hate it, you can whatever, but it really disgusted me, like the fan reaction, you know what I mean? The fan
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah,
reaction
yeah. Sure.
and the bullying of like the girl who played Rose, they bullied her offline, and like it's like, I mean, get a life, you know what I mean? Like how much of a loser do you have to be because you didn't like the portray or a character that someone just portrayed, and
Yeah,
you're just shitting all over this person who portrayed this character. It's like I just don't understand that, you know what I mean? And it really it
it
really
soured you a little bit on it. Yeah,
it really bothered me. Like I'm like, man, this is not what I was hoping that other Star Wars fans were like. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it
No,
really,
totally.
it really,
It's like people freaking. It's like people seeing an X-Men movie and being like, "Oh, we should keep other people away from us." Like strange. It's like, oh, you're missing the lesson. Like.
yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I
No,
mean?
it's
Like
yeah,
fear of the other kind of a thing, and you're watching X-Men, and you're like, yeah, no, these are awesome, but it's like secretly you're rooting for the Sentinels. I don't understand,
yeah. No,
like
they don't understand what they're watching almost or something. And
yeah,
and yeah, it's what was I just lost my train of thought. But yeah, it was very disillusioning. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know. It's like I always thought like people nerds who've been bullied in their life. You'd think that they would refrain from trying to bully other people. You know what I mean? And it's like,
yeah,
but it
yeah,
doesn't seem to be that case. Anyways, it bothered me. Um, yeah, and it's just like if it's not your cup of tea, then it's not your cup of tea. You know what I mean? Okay, you don't like it, that's fine, but
yeah. I just
like man,
it's weird when they get yeah. I guess we shouldn't get too far into it, but yeah,
yeah,
it is weird for sure because it's like even the original movies. You look at the groups and you're like, yeah, the Empire are all the same. Like all the
Hmm.
people in the empire are, I won't even go into what they are,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
they're all the
yeah.
same, you know?
Right, right,
They're
right.
from England. Like, I'll just say that. They're all have British accent. They all have a British accent except for Darth Vader, and
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he's from the Outback. But like,
Right.
you know, but it's like,
Yeah,
and all of the rebellion is all types, aliens from everywhere, and you know what I mean. So
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
clearly they're sending. You can say that they're not sending a message, but because it's maybe these days it's a little bit too on the surface for some people. But it's like
Right. Well, that's okay.
if you just
This
looked at
is
the
my
metaphor
thought.
they're using, it's like this is what they're saying. You know, like
Yeah, well, this is my thought. Sometimes I try to, I cut you off because I'm like, I got to get this out because I'll forget it. Like as soon
yeah,
as
yeah.
it's
No,
gonna,
I
you know what I
honestly.
mean? But it's another thing. Bringing it back to the Karate Kid is this like, there was a time when Cobra Kai came out, right? And they're trying to say, well, Daniel LaRusso was the bully, and I was like, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. You know, like it drove me nuts. You know what I mean? What are you talking about? It's six kids against them, man. Like, you know, the guys from out of town, they're just like messing this kid up every chance they get. How is
Yeah,
he like the bad? Like they're trying to put the twist like he was the bad guy, you know? And
yeah, yeah.
I'm like, what's up with this bullying culture? Like they should, oh, let's bring back bullying because that was great in the '80s. You know, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. You know what I mean? No, it's the worst. You know, oh, I don't understand why they're canceling people because they were like bullying other people. I'm like, yeah, get rid of them, man. The bully's got to go. And why? What has happened with people where they're like, oh, I miss the bullying? You know, like,
Yeah, yeah.
no, that was never good. That was never good. Sorry. And if you think that that's good, then don't talk to me ever.
But that's
Anyway.
people that had a grand old time being bullies, and
Well, that's the
now they feel
thing. Is that
judged,
yeah,
and like yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
feeling
That's
that
the
people
thing.
are too weak just because it's like, yeah, it's always that thing though. But again, really all they're doing is just getting old. They're just getting old.
Right, right.
And people when they get old become conservative minded, and I don't mean conservative as in voting left or right. I just mean like afraid
Right.
of the future.
Right, right, right. Yeah, exactly. That's the problem too. Yeah,
Hope becomes it
afraid of
doesn't, you know,
change.
young people like change and they like hope
Yeah,
because that's their future to look forward to,
right,
and old people get scared of it because I don't recognize this place, it doesn't
right,
accept me anymore. So it's like
right.
it's just human nature, you know. But it's
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
oh, these kids are too weak these days, and it's like, yeah, sometimes I'm like, yes, sometimes maybe, but also like, yeah, do you know how
Mhm.
much better they understand themselves than we did? Like we had all of us have like undiagnosed things, and we just went through our lives and just not knowing understanding ourselves. Like
Right, right.
why do I feel this way? Why is this? What is the no understanding of anxiety or depression or any, you know, like,
Hmm.
you know, like just being like, just, well, I guess I'll just drink a lot.
And
Instead
like,
of like,
well,
maybe I should get help. It's like, well, when I drink it feels good for a few hours, then I'm more depressed the next day, but whatever, that's tomorrow, I'll deal with that tomorrow.
yep.
True, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. You nailed it on the
And
head
just
right
like, and then
there.
you're like
Yeah.
45 and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
that's what that was. It just sucks
yeah,
because you're like, oh, I could have, like, we talked about this. You have some stuff that you feel like you wish you had known about when you were
yeah,
younger, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Certain,
yeah.
just, you know, attention deficit stuff, and, you know, just things
Yeah.
that, like, maybe, I don't know, everyone goes like, oh, everyone's overdiagnosed today. And, like, again, like, maybe they are, but also like, or maybe just there's a better understanding of these things today than there was when we were young, you know. So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah. I
more
mean,
people are getting, yeah, who knows.
I get tired of like people don't understand certain. I mean, anyway, I'm not gonna. I don't want to start preaching too much. I've already been preaching enough. But like, people don't understand. Like, your generation was the best to you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you get all these
exactly.
things on Instagram. Our generation was the best. We drank from hoses. We jumped off bridges. We freaking went swimming with in sewage. You know,
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah,
made us tough. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
yeah, to you. But guess what? To my dad, our generation was soft as hell, and we were
yeah,
spoiled, and we didn't
exactly.
have anything to worry about. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah,
then his generation to his parents was soft. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
just how
Like
it is. You know what I
we
mean?
went through
Things
World War
change.
II, and we went
Yeah,
through a
and guess what?
depression.
Those
Yeah,
I do look around at a lot of kids these days, and I'm like, oh my god, these kids are spoiled. Like, I do that for sure, and it is like I don't like that sort of soft, because of the way we were raised. I felt was relatively decent. They could have done with a little bit more patience, but here and there. But I mean, but but you know what I'm saying? Like, and I do get like some of that. But I mean, it's like just give it a rest and appreciate that what you had, and have some sort of understanding that these kids are going to have their own issues and their things, and they have to work through it, and you just guide them through that. You know what I mean? And don't say,
Yeah.
well, ours was better and this was better and being a bully was awesome, and and calling people and shitting on people because they were different was great. No, it wasn't great. It was great for you because everybody laughed at your stupid jokes, but it wasn't so great for those people. So you know what I mean? Have a little sympathy, a little
Yeah.
compassion. And off the soapbox I go. That's enough. That's enough of that. All right. Let's stop with that. Let's stop with that.
Yeah, yeah. Let's move on to. Should we? Should we? I don't want to end it
And it's on my rant.
on
Just going off. Yeah.
on just judgment of others or whatever.
So I'm running for office 2028.
Yeah, exactly.
Vote for your local nerd. No, I know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have much else to say though, but we solved some problems and we set some people right today, so that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
No one will
Okay,
be
we got to talk
upset
about
with
something.
our
We can't end it like that. We can't end it like that. I just went off like crazy, and
all
it's
right, all
no
right, all
good.
right.
Yeah, we can't end it. We gotta figure something else. It's got to end on a positive note, not just me ranting and getting angry.
All right.
Um,
Hey, check it out. Check it out. I'm gonna hype up something that there's DC KO. The final issue is coming out. I'm going to
okay.
show you some of these covers. I'm going to give you some of these covers, so don't get jealous. But I got all the covers from DC. I don't think it's out in stores yet. But there's, you know what? I can't even really show. I don't want to spoil anything by flipping to a page that no one's seen. Here, nothing crazy happens here. It's Barry Allen over here in his studio. Um,
Okay.
but it's the last issue of DCKO, and I did like the last six pages of it.
Oh, I can't see it
Um,
because you're not appearing.
Oh yeah, you can see it. Well, it's
Yeah, I
got
can't
a
see it.
Jerome
So.
Opeña cover. It's got a Daniel Warren Johnson cover of Batman giving Superman a suplex off the top rope.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw
got some
that.
cool, got some. It's a lot of covers, but very cool artists though and stuff. And it was it was cool to be.
Cool.
They asked me if I could pinch hit the last 6 pages, so I just said yeah. It's got Darkseid in it. It's got some. It's got the absolute characters in there. I get to draw all that cool stuff. So.
Okay,
Uh,
cool.
yeah, I'm not sure. It's coming out. Is it already in stores? Is it out next week? I'm not sure. Coming real soon.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's it.
we can end it on that note.
I can hear the car. It probably means there's groceries that I need to help get out of there, out of the back of the car. So yeah, I'll talk to you later.
Okay, man. I'll talk to you later.
Oh,
Okay.
Kevin's on here. Hey, Kevin. Hi. There's this person says, "Hey, sweetheart." All right. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, that's Nick. Yeah.
Love you, man. Talk to you later.
All right, dude. I'll speak to you later. Okay. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, everybody. Sorry for my ranting.